Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm just going to do a short video this morning, really following up on the one I put up on Sunday about my pics from the Chanel Travel Diary collection, where I showed in particular the quad you can see, City Lights. I hadn't worn it on my eyes at that point. And I compared it in that video to Tom Ford's Nude Dip, but without showing it, because I guess those of you who know about Nude Dip knew what I was talking about. There have been a few follow-up comments both here and on my Instagram talking about either you have Nude Dip, so do you need City Lights, or more particularly you're thinking about the two of them and thinking about going for City Lights instead of Nude Dip. So I wanted to kind of address that and actually show the two of them. Now that I have had the opportunity of wearing City Lights, I've worn it 2 days now, so I have a better idea about how it applies, how it lasts, so on and so forth. So first of all, once again, this is good sunny daylight and it's still not brilliant. There's my Nude Dip. Still looking remarkably unworn given how long I've had it and the fact that I do wear it quite a lot. So that should tell you straight away how much product you get in Tom Ford and how quality the product is, in that a little goes a long way. So Tom Ford shadows literally last 4 years and they do not go off either. In my opinion, they apply pretty much as the day you bought them for a good 2.5, 3 years, whatever it says on the packet, before they start drying ever so slightly, and even then they're so well pigmented that you can continue wearing them. I have a Tom Ford palette. It is my favourite Tom Ford iQuad that was released in 2012, and this is now 2017, and I still wear it and it's absolutely fine. So that's a big plus for Tom Ford. The big negative, of course, is they cost a lot of money. I think they may actually have gone up and be £63 now. They're certainly over £60 for a quad. So that's serious money for makeup, even though you're getting a lot of it. The Chanel quads, I have far more, in general terms, mixed feelings about. I don't have a huge number of them. I've bought a huge number over the years, and quite a few of them I've given away or, in fact, sold if I don't like them very quickly after I've bought them. They are cheaper. So I think this one was £43, a good £20 cheaper than the Tom Ford. In terms of product, I never really think the weights are all that interesting. 2 grams of product as opposed to 6 grams. So 6 grams, 2 grams, huge difference for that £20. Now, of itself, that doesn't really bother me because I'd honestly rather have a palette that I love than one that's got a shed load of product, because I've got a lot of palettes. I've never, ever completely used up an eye palette before it's gone off. So it really doesn't matter to me that I'm getting less product, provided it's not terrible value, because I'm not going to use it up anyway. But if you're one of those people who likes to have just a few really basic products, the kind of, can I say, the Urban Decay palette users, because I know people who literally say, well, I just have that one palette and I use it every day. Well, then the amount of product you're going to get is far more important. So I'm not criticising Chanel for their amount of product. Let's just swatch these again. I did it on Sunday for you. They're buttery soft. You're getting plenty of pigmentation there in this beautiful, shimmery, all of them, colours. Really pretty. I absolutely adore this one. But this one, well, all of them apply very nicely to the eye. And if you like, you know, your taupe, nudish eyes, you're going to love these colours. Actually forgetting there's the plastic cover there. Love this one here. You can see this is the one I've used the most. Again, these are buttery soft. These can be worn wet as well as dry. I haven't tried with the Chanel ones. You often can, even if they're not advertised. So you can see they're also applying well pigmented. They're a very similar colour. This is not great, is it, really? But there you go. Very similar colour range. You can see immediately the brown's a bit more pigmented there, if that bothers you. Gorgeous, gorgeous colour there. Now, I've worn, as I say, the Nude Dip many times over the years, and it's a fabulous palette. You'd have to be an idiot at eye makeup application, which I pretty much am, not to look good wearing that. It's absolutely foolproof in my view, and it wears very well with and without primer. Obviously better with eye primer. I should say I don't myself, or very seldom, wear an actual eye primer, but I tend to use a cream shadow as a base, either from Laura Mercier, or I often wear a Tom Ford cream with that under that. Now, the Chanel one also applies super easily, easy to do a nice eye. I did find that quite soon after application, I'm going to say, well, not that soon actually. I mean, this has had a good test. It went on at yesterday, 5:30 a.m. and I looked at my eye makeup at about 9:30 for the first time when I got to work, and I noticed that the colours still looked very good, but they were beginning to slightly meld more into each other, and that can actually make the eye look better. But it can kind of look more muddy in one shade. And there was an element of that in that really only the highlight under the brow bone and in the corner was looking more distinct than the rest of the eye. But it still looked a great eye. I finished that piece of work, I'm going to say, at around lunchtime and got back to London at about 4:30. And by that time, the eye, and I had worn a base, was looking very creased and somewhat dilapidated. So I'm not saying it didn't wear well, because that's already quite a long day, but it definitely needed reapplication, less than 12 hours, 8 to 10 hours in, and looked muddy earlier on. That is not generally true of the Tom Ford. They last on me phenomenally well. And so I did kind of remark in my own mind last night that the quality of the Tom Ford, certainly for longevity, is superior. So that's a very nitpicking comparison, because I'm not saying the Chanel is bad and doesn't last. That's simply not true. They are very, very decent quality shadows, and for most people who don't work mega long days or reapply their eye makeup, they're going to be perfectly adequate. But don't fool yourself that the quality is exactly the same. To my way of thinking, there is a marked superiority. Not marked. There is a superiority in the Tom Ford palette. So that's really all I wanted to say about that. I do think, even though, in the pan the colours look slightly different, these two palettes are remarkably similar. They're not dupes in the sense of being exactly the same, but in the terms of the spectrum, the shimmer, the dimension, they're very, very similar. So in that sense, you are making a direct choice between those two comparisons. As I say, the Tom Ford Nude Dip is specifically marketed and advertised as being able to be used wet and dry. I very, very rarely wear it wet, but I know some people do. That intensifies the colour, no doubt about it. I don't know whether you can do that with the Chanel. I haven't tried. It certainly isn't advertised on that basis. The Chanel is about £20 cheaper, but a third of the product. And I think they're both out there, although, Nude Dip was very, very popular. It was kind of a special when it came out, sold out. It's now part of the permanent collection, and most good stockists of Tom Ford will have it. I'm not sure, actually, in the UK if this one is out in most Chanel counters, but it will be any day now, and it's in the specialist boutiques. So I hope that's useful and nobody is kind of misled about what I'm saying about these two. I really like the Chanel palette. I'm glad I got it, despite its being so like one I've already got, i.e. Nude Dip. I'm using it. I'm enjoying using it. But if I could only have one of the two, there is no doubt in my mind that it would be Tom Ford's Nude Dip that I would pick. And I think if you want to have a very limited number of palettes for whatever reason, that's the one you should go to for as well. But, just be aware and compare and contrast and enjoy choosing. So until next time, bye for now.